It's too good. I'm like trying to discern if I'm actually getting the flavor or it's the smell. I mean, we got this for like $7 in a 7-Eleven, so you know, why not? I'll give you 2 takes. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying everything that we purchased from our recent trip in Japan. So the first item we're trying is Sakura and roasted soybean powder Kit Kat. It's this really pretty pink color.
I mean, to me, I just kind of get like the normal Kit Kat kind of like center, and then it's like a white chocolate on the exterior. I don't really get any of the other subtle flavors that may be in it, like the Sakura or the roasted bean powder.
Yeah, the Sakura flavors in Japan are usually quite subtle, so they can be really overwhelmed by other flavors. For this one, I do get the roasted soybean flour. It's kind of like that little roasted nuttiness in the center of it. So it adds kind of just a interesting different little flavor, but it's definitely one of the more subtle flavors of Kit Kats. So the next one we're trying is an Azuki Sando. So this one's the nice regular chocolate. So I'd say for this one, it has really nice chocolate flavor, and you can get just a little bit of that red bean paste taste in it. So it goes pretty well with the chocolate. I would say this is a really good flavor.
Yeah, I can definitely taste more of the actual like Azuki bean paste in this compared to like the previous Sakura one. And again, it is just like the normal milk chocolate that you expect from a Kit Kat. Those 2 flavors work well together. So yeah, it's a pretty enjoyable Kit Kat.
So yeah, so Japan has quite a variety of seasonal flavors for Kit Kats. So whenever you're there, you can try different ones. So whenever you see a flavor that you like, feel free to give it a try. It's most likely going to be good. The next item we're trying are these chocolate covered snacks. So they look like these little like pine cones as like snacks.
Yeah, it looks like a little like, almost like a ice cream cone shape, like cookie with like chocolate on the outside instead of dipped on the inside.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's kind of your standard chocolate covered like cookie flavor. They're very much similar to Pocky sticks, where it's just like you got the chocolate over the biscuit. And so these are just another variation of them. I mean, they're decent, like, so if you really like those, these would be fine too.
Yeah, I mean, in the snack bag size, it's kind of like, easy to eat. I mean, they're enjoyable. Yeah, they're just like chocolate on a little biscuit thing that's covered.
No.
Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty decent.
So the next thing we're having is a Baum Kuchen. So Japan does a lot of these Baum Kuchens, which are German layered cakes. So that's delicious. And it has a really nice like eggy characteristic to it, which the shop we got it from, they specialize in eggs and like egg pudding. And so they used extra eggs in this type of their Baum Kuchen. And so it's really good. If you ever see this in Japan, definitely get a slice of it. They have it a lot around different areas, especially in Tokyo. They're usually like these circular cakes. So yeah, definitely grab a slice of it. It's really good, really fluffy, and just delicious.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them from everywhere from inside actual like Tokyo airport to out to specialty shops in cities. It's just like a light, moist, kind of rich, in this case, pretty rich cake. It's not overly sweet, but I feel like it's got that nice richness coming from the eggs that are in this specific one. So again, this is just a delicious little snack.
Yeah, they also have different flavors. So like I've seen ones that are matcha flavored or chocolate flavored and things like that. So if you see other flavors, like feel free to get those ones too. But we kind of like the classic ones just because it has that more of that eggy characteristic to it. So this is really good.
There is one other kind of kuchen that we've had before, which is like the Baum cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
So that's like a cheesecake instead of like a burnt cheesecake with this surrounding it. So if you see that in like a train station or something, definitely get that. They're really good fresh.
Yeah, those ones are really good. Okay, the next item we're trying is a Japanese style pecan nuts covered in chocolate.
So we got these when we stayed in Niseko at the actual like hotel that we stayed at. They had a little like gift shop in the hotel lobby because this was actually the snack they gave us like inside our room like every day. It was one of the 2 of them. So we really enjoyed it when we were there, so that's why I picked it up. Yeah,
so these are basically candy chocolate coated pecans in the center. Really good.
Yeah, it's got like the pecan on the inside, which has that nice like nuttiness, and then it's chocolate, and then it's like, I'm not exactly 100% sure what this is, almost like a cookie kind of.
Yeah, it's like, it says candied.
Yeah, on the outside of it. And so yeah, these were really good. That's why we picked them up when we were there. And this type of like box and container is like throughout Japan, no matter where you go, because they kind of have that culture of like buying stuff from a region and bringing it back to people. So this is why that was there. And this was not just the only one. They had like 30 different ones in the gift shop.
So yeah, if you're ever at like a train station or something like that and you kind of see whatever the regional snack is or delicacy, like get a box of whatever and usually aren't disappointed. The next thing we're trying is cookie tea.
So when I like smell this, it kind of reminds me of like if you took butter cookies, like that kind of stuff, and dunk them into your tea. So you get that like roasty, but also like that sweetness too on the aroma. The key with this tea is that it is very aromatic of the cookie, but on the actual like flavor of it, it's more just like a generic kind of black tea is kind of what I get.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a very more aromatic tea, but it actually tastes pretty decently. It recommends you can also make it into a milk tea, so add some milk that you like in there, and I think that would go really well with this type of tea to kind of add more of that mouthfeel for it. But yeah, I'd say pretty decent, interesting tea that we found in Japan.
Yeah, I think if you made this like as a tea latte too, like similar to that, that would kind of enhance some of the flavors with it. I think it would pair really well with sweets. I think it would kind of help enhance some of the subtle character and especially from the aroma from it, but the subtle character of the tea would pair really well with some kind of other cookie or donut or something. Those two flavors would probably pair pretty well. Overall, it was like in this huge tea shop. I was just never seen a cookie tea before, so I was just intrigued to try it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high quality, good tasting tea, and I'd definitely get this product again. The next item we're trying is Ohoro, Japan's distinct craft gin from the Niseko Distillery.
Yeah, so on one of the days when we were in Niseko, we went to this distillery and tried some of their stuff there. So then we bought a bottle of their gin to bring home with us to try.
Yeah, even before drinking this, it has a really nice, like, almost like fruity aromatics to it.
It kind of reminds me of like I know it is, but like it reminds me of like how gin and tonic should taste and smell. Like it has all those flavors in the aroma of it. And like the cocktails we had at the place were delicious. So I'm assuming this will kind of be good as its own gin. Goodbye.
Yeah, that definitely is like a very nice gin. I think, yeah, in a gin and tonic, great choice.
There's a little bit of burn on the back end, but in terms of like the actual like herbal and that kind of character from a gin that you kind of expect, it's all there. And again, I really do think that like this is the perfect gin to make a gin and tonic with, because it already has a lot of the same kind of characteristics of it.
Yeah, it's not a bland gin, and it feels like it's really well balanced. So yeah, I highly recommend.
Yeah, and I would definitely, if we ever went back in Niseko, I'd probably try to pick up another bottle of it.
The next we're trying is the Matsui single malt Japanese whiskey from a Sakura cask.
So we found this specific one in the basement of a department store in Ginza, and it was like the department store, which I'll put on screen, but it was across from the big Uniqlo that's there. Into that basement, because it's kind of like a ritzy area, we did see like, I think the most expensive bottle of whiskey I've ever seen, which was 88 million yen.
Yeah, which is this amount in dollars on the screen. So it was behind a glass case, lock and key, but they had just so many of these rare whiskey bottles there. It was insane.
Yeah, they'd all been aged for a really, really long time, and they're probably like one of a handful left in the world. So that's why they were so expensive. But this one intrigued me because of the Sakura cask. So
yeah, let's try. Okay.
It smells good.
That's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really have much burn to it. It's got like an interesting kind of after in the middle there for flavor. I don't know what that is.
It's almost peaty, like a little bit like that smoky peatiness that you get from a scotch. But it is kind of like almost on the sweeter end. I mean, I've had a lot of like other Japanese whiskeys and they can be a little bit harsher, but this definitely I think is like smoothed out, and I think probably some of that sweetness is probably coming from the Sakura, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, it's a really nice whiskey, quite smooth, doesn't burn, and it doesn't have any of that like smokiness that you expect in more of like scotch and bourbon, stuff like that. So yeah, this is a pretty good find in the basement of a department store.
Yeah, I think for this, I would probably recommend this just as like a sip-in whiskey, or maybe just like over some rocks. Like that's how I would probably enjoy it. I don't think it should go into a cocktail. I think it's good enough on its own.
So the next item we're trying is a Umesky. So it's a blend of liquor from plums and whiskey.
All right, so typically like an Umeshu is like a infusion of like a liquor and plum. So this one specifically is like plums with whiskey. Typically they're unripe like green plums traditionally. I found this one specifically in the train station of Kanazawa when we were over in that region. Again, just like in the department store right outside the train station. I found it and I was really intrigued because I'd never seen one with whiskey before. So I was hoping that would pair pretty well. They're typically a little bit sweet too, so we'll see if this one is sweet.
Kanpai.
Oh, that's really good.
That's interesting. Because we've had just regular Umeshu before, And it's very smooth, it's very sweet because it's made from plums and it has a lot of sugar in it. This one though, because it has that whiskey, you can taste it at the end of kind of that little bit of that bite from the cask and almost a little smokiness in there. So this is a really interesting mix.
Yeah, it kind of like the flavor I get is like first you get that hit of the green plum at the beginning and then the sweetness. And then again, as you're saying at the end, the whiskey kind of carries it over and gives it that depth of flavor. And it has very similar characteristics to the previous whiskey that we just tried. So this is delicious. It's very well balanced as a drink. And again, if you're drinking this type of stuff is enjoyed pretty much just like straight or on the rocks is how I would enjoy it.
If you see any kind of like umeshu or like plum alcohol in Japan, it's usually pretty good. A lot of times they have them actually in bars where they're like homemade from that bar and they're really good if you get that. Give it a try. So the next one we're trying is an umeshu from Hokkaido.
So this again is an umeshu, which is similar to the last one we just tried, but instead it's probably a more neutral spirit. But this one we got it in Niseko on the island of Hokkaido. Let's give it a try.
It's a little bit more bland. It doesn't have that like full body of the whiskey. No, I would say this is pretty good. It's got that nice like plum flavor into it. It's not actually too sweet. A lot sometimes they can be overwhelmingly on the sweet side, so you kind of want to dilute them with either ice or some water. But this one's not too bad.
I think it's kind of just like not as good as the previous one, but that's fine. It's just a different variety of it. And again, this is more of the neutral spirit side, so you don't get that depth of flavor. But it does have this similar kind of characteristic. It is pretty sweet.
Yeah, and these ones can have different flavor profiles based off of what kind of plums they're using and how ripe they are and things like that and what spirit they're using. So, you know, try different ones when you see them all across Japan because they're going to be different.
I think after trying everything, for me personally, my favorite thing we had was the Umesky. It was just such a good like flavor profile and it had a good depth of flavor as well. So that's why I would really enjoy it and I'm definitely trying to get that again if I could.
Yeah, my favorite one that we tried was the Baum Kuchen. That one, it just has like a nice fluffy texture to it and it has a really good eggy profile. And so it's a really good dessert. And all the ones that I've tried throughout Japan, they're just always really good. And so I'd say, yeah, if you can find those, definitely give them a go.
I think for me, the most surprising, despite having it there, was that gin. I forgot how like aromatic it was and really delicious. I'm excited to drink it as like a cocktail and a gin and tonic type beverage.
For me, the other one that was really surprising was the Umesky. We've had the Umeshu before, but when it's made with a neutral spirit. And so this one was really interesting of having it being made with whiskey. And so I thought the flavor profiles of both of them together worked really well. If I ever find that again, I would definitely buy it.
I think for me, the item I probably would leave on the shelf and just wouldn't get again was the Sakura and Kineko Kit Kat. For me, it just tastes like a white chocolate covered Kit Kat, so it wasn't anything special compared to like the other one, which had a little bit of that Anko paste in it. So I just wouldn't get that flavor Kit Kat again.
Yeah, for me, probably what I wouldn't buy again is the little chocolate biscuits that look like pine cones. Just because their flavor profile wasn't anything like different or interesting. It's kind of your standard chocolate on a biscuit. So they were good. And so if you enjoy that kind of thing, you know, they're not bad. It's just, you can get them in a lot of different forms. And so there wasn't anything like unique or interesting about it.
Hope you enjoyed us trying a bunch of those snacks and drinks that we brought back from Japan. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to see us try other Japanese snacks, watch the video on the screen right now. We'll see you again soon. Bye.